Why don't you govern yourself this way, right? Like as if you are the CEO of your life. Why don't you think of yourself as the employee and the employer? Why don't you think of yourself as a student and a teacher? Why don't you think of your life as a business that you need to run, healthy and strong, that you need to grow and flourish, that you need to maintain so that it makes it on to your children, right? Much like a business would, right? A business, you can create a legacy with a business. You can pass your business on to your children, but you think of your life as that way. Because again, if you really want to live on and you live on through your children, that's the concept, right? I think that if we start governing ourselves like we are the CEOs of our life, I think that we'll start taking responsibility more. And we all need to start taking responsibility more. One of the biggest things in life is the upset, is the letdown. And that's unfortunate because, you know, if we're taught to take responsibility for ourselves, nothing and no one would be able to let us down, right? Nothing and no one would be able to let us down. Most of the time, right? Or I get a chance to speak with people and their business may not be flourishing the way that they like it to. And it's always they want to place the blame on somebody else. Well, here's where it went wrong, and this person did this, and I had this person in the wrong position. And you know, and that's taking responsibility some of the time when you say, all right, I had this person in the right decision. But you know, what it all boils down to is you can't afford to let someone let you down. You can't afford to let someone upset you. Because you got to remain consistent. Remember, you are the CEO of your life. You're the government. You're the government of your life. And in order to make the biggest impact and in order to get the highest level of performance out of your life, you have to take responsibility. Taking responsibility is something that everyone can clearly see is for the leader. It's for the person in charge. It's for the CEO. And that's why it's so important to govern your life like as if you are the CEO, because you are. It's time for us to take responsibility for the things that we're doing and not worry about what everybody else is doing. To put that in perspective, you do the hiring, you do the firing. You decide who's in and you decide who's out. So if something is not going your way, it's up to who to fix it. You. It's up to you to fix it. It's so important for you guys to govern yourself like you are the CEO of your life, because you are. I'm just relating business to life. And I think anybody can understand the relationship there. Because when you're a CEO, you can't pass the buck. Business is either up or it's down. Life is either up or it's down. If it's your job to maintenance it, if it's your job to recruit the right people, if it's your job even to just maintain, you got to take that responsibility. Can't pass that buck. And when it comes to the others, you know, you passing the buck, okay, now what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. Great morning. Great morning. You're setting yourself up for failure, guys. If you don't see that when you don't take responsibility for you, that it will automatically put you in a space where you're going to be upset, you're going to be let down, then maybe you shouldn't be the CEO. Maybe you shouldn't be governing yourself. Maybe you're not grown. Maybe you're not ready. And that's okay too. Because there's a lot of people that are not ready. But this is how you gauge that. This is how you got to look at things, like as if you are the CEO of your life. See, a CEO, his principles are going to be high. His standards are going to be high. He don't pass responsibility. She don't pass responsibility. Can't afford the upset. Can't afford the letdown. Right? Because I know some of you guys thinking like, well, why? Why is that? I mean, the CEO hires people. CEO hires people to do pretty much everything so that they can go on vacation, right? It's just the biggest mistake of all. That's an employee passing the buck. And I've seen that often the time. I've seen that too many times too, by the way. How the employee gonna pass the buck to the CEO, right? Like as if, I don't know if y'all get that, but please get that. But no, that's not what a CEO does. See, the CEO is government. The CEO is where it stops at. Ultimately, if it fails, it's the CEO. If it wins, it's the CEO. See, as the CEO, you're the mother and you're the father. As the CEO, you captain. So it's up to you to govern this ship correctly. And if you don't, and you fail, no one to blame but you. But on the flip side of that, right? If you are able to make the switch in your mind and maintain this level of thinking, this high level of thinking, I promise you're gonna win. I promise you that you are gonna achieve a level in life and see a level of success for yourself that probably no one else around you has seen. And you can see these type of people. I see these type of people all the time. I pick them out of crowds. I really do. I know them when they walk inside my office. It's rare, but they do. Right? And they're just looking for some opportunity and they're hungry for it. And they're shaking everybody's hand and they're giving good eye contact. Because they're hungry, they're waiting on it, they're ready. They're ready. They already govern themselves like the CEO of their life. They're looking to be CEO of something that gives them purpose now. And I think that's where a lot of you guys are. That's where a lot of you guys are. Some of you guys are not ready. Trust me. You're just not ready. Some of you guys are just not ready. But there's a group of you out there that are governing yourself as a CEO right now of your own life. You're making the rules. You're abiding by the rules. When you fuck up, you're taking responsibility for those fuck ups. And when you win, you take it as a victory. You celebrate it to yourself. You celebrate it with your team, and you move on and you move on quickly to the next victory. See, that's what CEOs do. That's what leaders do. big difference. The mindset has to change. You are the CEO of your life. Govern yourself accordingly. Operate your business and scale it. That means to grow it. Also operate your life and grow it. There's a lot of things that you can be doing with your life right now. A lot of things you can be doing with your life. Don't sell yourself short. Don't set yourself up for failure by believing in others more than you believe in you. Place the responsibility where it needs to be placed, on you. God gave that to you. That is yours, sir. That is yours, ma'am. What are you doing passing the buck to somebody else? You're setting yourself up for a letdown. You're setting yourself up for a failure. They may not be ready. As much as you want them to be, they may not be ready. I can coach you on a lot of things. I can coach on a lot of things. I can help you grow your small business to a multi-million-dollar company, right? But what you have to deal with first is the fact that you are ready to be the CEO of your own life.